Hello, and welcome back. This is Borahla here. Time to make our second trip and learn about what is commonly referred to as the direct approach. Theorists in the direct approach took a different view than those in the grammar translation approach. They started to examine how languages are learned among children and what principles of first language acquisition might be applied to learning in a second. So we are going to go back to 1910 and talk to someone who has learned language through the direct method. Good day to you, sir. We are time travelers. We come from the future, from the 21st century. We'd like to ask you some questions about language learning and teaching. I knew you would come. The old professor of the translation approach told me that there are time travelers asking questions about language and learning and teaching. So you too would like to taste what this tongue has tasted? Feel the spray of ocean that has hit this face and see all the wondrous things these eyes have seen? Well then, come aboard. I will show you of people and places that others have only dreamt about. You know as well as I do that language is a passageway to culture, alive and waiting for us just around the corner. Not dead, no never, but alive if we will just get on the ship that will take us there. 6 questions, you say? To keep life to 6 questions is a miracle, but I will do my best to speak a simple prose that will delight you and inform you. I will speak truth. All the truth is all you need. Why should we teach languages? Language is a small part of your larger goal, is it not? Your goal is to immerse yourself, to become one with the native cultures and tribes. When I lived among the Uhutu tribes to the south, they accepted me as one accepts a small child, and I became a child as I lived with them. I learned the meaning of tree and flower, of root and seed. I learned to become Uhutu myself. And thus I have been many men, and I have lived many lives. I learned Spanish from the sailors that came to port. I learned Dutch from the pirates of the island coast. I learned Portuguese from the nights spent with the Brazilian man. Who should we teach? We must teach those who come our way, who drift in and out of our lives, those who come to us from far away. They are those who I know I must teach. So please sit down, because you are a time traveler and you have come to me. Let me teach you. I will teach any who make their way to my door and any who come hoping to see what the world has in store. What materials are needed to teach a language? I was taught the simple way that a child learns. My wise teacher taught me Uhutu by simply sitting on the ground until I also sat, and then he pointed out the sky and taught me sky, and then he pointed out the dirt in his hands, and so I learned dirt. He also opened up maps to me, and then I understood the shape of the land. I learned colors, objects, and the fact that the river was between 2 hills and that the trees were among the hills. Eventually, my teacher opened up his heart and I learned to feel like the Uhutu feel. He asked me what I felt, and that is the day I spoke and became Uhutu. How does a learner learn a language? We all learn as children learn, by becoming explorers of the world around us. We don't learn from dusty books. We learn from what we can touch and feel and see. We read and see all around us those daily things that were once considered too low to even be thought of as worth teaching. How should a teacher teach? A teacher needs only to point to the world around him. A teacher must make it clear to the learner that they are in charge of seeing this world and of expressing and sharing it. A teacher must make it clear that the learners are in charge of their own learning, even their own mistakes. Teachers must make it clear that learners must share what they have learned so that a teacher can see if they have learned well. In an effort to share culture, a teacher must realize that it is the daily affairs of men and women that make us who we are. What we eat, what we drink, what we see with our own eyes. This is the essence of language. How do we help students remember a language? As a learner understands a culture, there will be no need to remember it because you will become a part of it. You will become as they are, and your ability to live in that culture is the only true test of language. But if I had to judge your ability to speak another language in my classroom, I would have you speak honestly and openly. No false grammatical sentences, but you would speak, and I would recognize your ability to understand as the people of that language understand. Well, perhaps, my friend, someday the Uhutu tribe will make you one of their own as well. Well, hello back to the present and to the 21st century. I hope you have enjoyed this interview and that you are going to be ready for our next adventure. See you in the next video, and thanks for listening.